You've felt it before, that strange moment when you say yes to something you didn't want, and only later realize you never really chose at all. That's not confusion. That's manipulation tactics at work. The quiet psychological moves that shape your thoughts, twist your emotions, and steer your choices without you noticing. They can come from anywhere: a partner, a boss, even someone who swears they love you. And the most terrifying part? They look completely normal. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on 10 hidden ways you're being controlled. How manipulators bend reality, build dependency, and turn your emotions into their favorite tools. So let's start with one that makes you question the ground beneath your own mind. Tactic number 1, gaslighting and reality warping. This one doesn't just change what you think, it rewrites what you remember. Gaslighting is psychological warfare disguised as concern. They'll deny your memories, twist the facts, and accuse you of being too sensitive. At first you fight back, then you start doubting yourself, and soon you stop trusting your own perception. Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance, that mental discomfort when reality clashes with someone else's version of it. To ease the tension, your brain starts accepting their story instead. And once that happens, they don't need to argue anymore, because now you argue with yourself. Think of it like psychological malware. Once installed, it rewrites everything you believe about yourself, quietly, completely, and without permission. Tactic number 2, love bombing and excessive charm. At first, it feels like a dream. They text all day, compliment every detail, tell you you're the only one who understands them. But behind the affection is an agenda. Love bombing is emotional conditioning. They flood you with warmth until your brain ties their attention to your worth. Then they pull back, and you chase that high like withdrawal. Studies show this tactic hijacks the same reward pathways as addiction, releasing dopamine and oxytocin, binding trust to the manipulator's approval. When they vanish, you crave their return. That's not love, that's leverage. When someone gives too much, too fast, it's rarely about connection, it's about control. Tactic number 3, silent treatment and emotional withdrawal. Silence can be louder than shouting. The silent treatment works because your mind fills the quiet with panic. No messages, no calls, no glance, only silence. You start obsessing. What did I do wrong? Desperate to fix the disconnect. Meanwhile, they've trained you to associate peace with obedience. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. Random bursts of affection, followed by long stretches of coldness. The same pattern that keeps gamblers addicted. You're not fixing the problem, you're feeding the system. When silence is used as punishment, it's not a resolution, it's control disguised as calm. Tactic number 4, guilt tripping and obligation induction. They don't have to yell to control you, they just have to make you feel guilty. After everything I've done for you, you're really going to act like that? Each phrase is designed to twist empathy into obedience. Therapists call it emotional extortion, guilt as currency. They hand you invisible debt until saying no feels cruel. And every time you whisper, I owe them, the leash tightens. Manipulators don't want fairness. They want permission to keep taking. Tactic number 5, triangulation and divide and conquer. Just when you start seeing the pattern, they bring someone else in. Now it's not just you and them, it's you versus the story they've told someone else. They'll say, she agrees with me, or everyone thinks you're overreacting. Suddenly, you're defending yourself to people who were never there. That's triangulation, a control move designed to divide and destabilize. By pitting people against each other, manipulators ensure no one ever unites against them. It's not chaos by accident, it's coordination. And once you start defending yourself to ghosts, they've already won. Tactic number 6, information overload and intellectual bullying. Not every manipulator is emotional. Some are technical. They bury you in data, jargon, and endless explanations until you can't keep up. It's not about being right, it's about wearing you down. This is cognitive overload, a mental flood that shuts off critical thinking. When you're overwhelmed, you'll agree just to escape. Research shows people overloaded with complex information are far more likely to defer to whoever sounds confident, even when that person is wrong. So when someone keeps explaining long after you understand, they're not clarifying, they're controlling. Tactic number 7, coercion and threats. Overt or subtle. Some control doesn't hide behind kindness, it hides behind fear. Coercion can sound like, you'll regret this, or as soft as, you know what will happen if you don't. Different tone, same message. You're not free to choose. Subtle threats create anticipatory anxiety. You start avoiding conflict before it even happens, and soon they won't have to punish you anymore. You punish yourself. The most dangerous cage isn't the one locked from the outside, it's the one you build inside your own mind. Tactic number 8, dependency creation and isolation. Control thrives in silence. Over time, manipulators chip away at your connections. One friend here, one habit there, until you only have them. They'll say, "Your friends don't get you," or "I'm the only one who understands." At first, it feels protective. Eventually, it becomes a prison. Psychologists describe it as emotional dependency conditioning, the systematic breakdown of outside perspective. When you lose your support network, their version of reality becomes yours. You stop seeking advice, you stop trusting your instincts, and finally, you stop recognizing yourself. When your world shrinks to one voice, that's not connection, that's captivity. Tactic number 9. Weaponizing your words and passive consent. Manipulators remember everything you say, not to understand you, but to use it later. Every confession becomes ammunition. Every silence becomes agreement. Psychologists call this passive consent, the manipulator's favorite yes. If you don't set a boundary, they'll invent one for you. They'll twist your words into permission and your politeness into compliance. And the longer you stay quiet, the louder their version of your story becomes. If you don't define your truth, someone else will. Tactic number 10, changing the rules and Darvo. When they're cornered, they change the game. Suddenly, you're not the victim, you're the villain. This behavior follows a pattern known as Darvo: deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. They'll deny what happened, attack your credibility, and cry betrayal until you're the one apologizing. It's chaos with a purpose, a psychological smokescreen designed to erase accountability and rewrite guilt. And if you start explaining yourself, they've already won the rewrite. Darvo isn't defense, it's deceit disguised as emotion. You've just seen the blueprint: 10 quiet ways control hides in plain sight. These manipulation tactics don't steal your freedom all at once. They take it piece by piece. A doubt here, a silence there, a small guilt you can't quite name. But once you see the pattern, it can't control you anymore, because manipulation doesn't take power. It convinces you to hand it over. And the moment you stop giving it, every manipulator loses their favorite weapon: your unawareness.